What's up, everyone? Welcome to the first ever episode of Noon with Noonan. I debated on what I should call this new show. The Ask Brian Noonan show, the Daily Show with Brian Noonan. Noonan, hey Noonan, was a high school nickname. Everyone called me Noonan, and also Noonan is a popular Caddyshack name. In the movie Caddyshack, there's someone called Noonan. I've never watched that show, or I haven't seen the movie totally, but the show is called Noon with Noonan. At least once per week around noontime, I'm going to be going live both here on YouTube, Facebook, and all my podcasts, or recording at least one episode per week at noon, at least once per week, and uploading the live recording or the video and the audio for those of you listening on the podcast. I'm going to be recording this and uploading it to both YouTube, Facebook, and my podcast. So wherever you're going to be listening to this show, I really appreciate your support, whether you're on Spotify, another podcast platform, you're on my YouTube channel, or on Facebook. I appreciate all of you for watching. I really do, and listening. So the Noon with Noonan show. This is going to be a show covering all things encompassing all things Amazon business and personal development. And that last one, personal development, is something that, doesn't get talked about too often, but mindset, personal development is so important for being a successful entrepreneur and business owner. If you don't have the right mindset, goals, determination, a reason why you want things, you want the money, but why do you want the money? Do you want time to spend more time with your family, more freedom from working a job? I know that was my main reason for getting into online business. 2.5 years ago, starting my Amazon and e-commerce business and brands was freedom. I hated and working for somebody else. I absolutely hated working for somebody else. Having a boss and having to be there at a certain time, work hard, dealing with drunk people. I was a banquet manager and bartender for several years, and dealing with drunk people was one of the worst things I had to do. And I went to work for over 5 years, 5 days, 6 days a week, 1 p.m. to 1 a.m., every single day for 5 years and never missed a day. And you're just not recognized enough. Maybe you guys can relate. It's like you're working with the same coworkers every single day, dealing with the same issues and gossip, and working with the boss you don't like or customers you don't like. And online business gives you the opportunity to totally change that, do a reset, and take your future into your own hands. And you no longer will be a slave to your 9-to-5 job. So that's, I think, one of the main things, or the most important thing that drew me into online business, Amazon FBA, e-commerce, being my own boss, time freedom, and then being paid what I was worth, right? We're not paid very much at all working an hourly job or even a salary. You should be able to, if you learn more, work harder, be paid more. I remember I only received in 5 or 6 years maybe one raise. But let's get into it. So today's the first thing I want to start with. On that personal development note, before we move on to the business and Amazon side of things, for the first episode of the show, or for the first part of the show, I want to start with a quote. And the quote today, guys, is, life in business is like the seasons. You must prepare for the winters, plant seeds in the spring, to be able to harvest everything in the fall. There's always spring after winter. So what does that mean, guys? Life and business are like the seasons. You have to plant and prepare your harvest, or plant the seeds of your new business, your new life, your new income level, your new successes in the spring to get them going, protect them, nurture them, take care of them to be able to reap the rewards, whether that's freedom, time, income, success, more time with family. You have to start in the spring to be able to harvest and reap the rewards in the fall. Also, really important, we have to prepare for the winters. Winters are hard, they're cold, they're tough, they're dark. Whatever you decide for your online business, if you are doing e-commerce, Amazon FBA, you're going to be faced with a lot of challenges because let's face it, it's 2021, it's 2020 going into 2021, and there's a lot of competition out there, guys. Chinese sellers coming in. If you're selling on Amazon or doing e-commerce, there's just always more and more competition. So it's really important that you prepare for obstacles. Also, if you're just selling on Amazon, which I know a lot of you are, and you have one listing, what happens if that listing gets taken down? Then you're stuck with no income. And so diversifying your risk with multiple products, selling on multiple platforms like Walmart, Etsy, and other e-commerce stores like your own Shopify store, and on Amazon, is one of the best ways that you can diversify your risk in case anything ever were to happen to your Amazon account, or if you're selling one product or two products and one gets shut down. So make sure that we prepare for the winters, okay? That's super important. Okay, overview on the show, Noon with Noonan. I'm going to be bringing on guests, live guests. I'm going to try to bring on a guest at least once per week. Or every other episode, and it may be you next who is right here on the show with me. I'm going to be doing kind of a consulting or coaching format where you may be selected to come on to the show here and ask me your questions. Right? I'd be happy to have you on the show. Let's talk about where you're at with starting your online business. Ask me any questions you have, and maybe I can get through multiple people on one show or one episode. Each episode will be roughly 30 minutes, so we'll have a good amount of time to go over any questions you have, issues you're facing, and really just learn from my experience. What have I learned in the 2.5 years that you don't know about yet, or what's holding you back from starting? All of that goes into Amazon, e-commerce, business, and life development. Okay, guys? And then each week I'm going to try to pick a different topic. Okay? So week 1, we'll talk about like product research, tips for product research, how to estimate your sales properly, how to know your product will sell year-round, the product's not seasonal. If you're starting e-commerce and Amazon FBA, which categories make the best categories right now to start and launch new products. I want to talk about that. That's going to be super important because there's certain categories, guys, that are just better than others. And then there's categories that I just recommend you stay away from. Like automotive, food and grocery, supplements, pills, lotions. Those types of products are restricted and just don't make great products for the first product because they require approval. But sometimes it's easy to get approval, like in health and household or beauty and personal care. You may just have to submit photos of your product and the packaging, and Amazon will approve you. And so anything you guys can do, and like week 1, if we do talk about product research that week, I'll try to give you my best tips and advice for how to do product research nowadays, the best ways you can find products. And actually in this episode, week 1, it is going to be about product research here in a little bit. So we'll talk about product research here. And then the next week, we may be going over suppliers, logistics, and shipping. What delays are there right now, if any, with Q4? Are we still experiencing issues and delays with the coronavirus? And then week 3, we'll talk about brands, building a brand. Should you focus on launching products in all different types of categories? Or should we really focus on maybe 1 or 2 categories to build a brand? And just a little sneak peek, the answer is the second one. It's going to be super important, guys, going forward that we focus on building brands. And the reason is I have a feeling, and it's already starting to happen, a lot of people, customers, are starting to order from their Alexa devices. So voice is going to be a huge component of selling on Amazon, voice ordering. And when the customer is in their home, when you're at home, you're brushing your teeth or you're getting out of the shower and you realize I need more toothpaste or I need more shampoo, you're just going to tell Alexa, please order me more shampoo. Now, who gets that sale is going to become super important. Is it one of Amazon's brands? Is it your competitor who gets the sale? That's where building a brand and brand awareness and recognition with your customers is going to be really important, because you want the customer instead to say, if your brand name was Hansen, Alexa, order me more Hansen shampoo, or Alexa, order me more Hansen toothpaste, right? So they recognize your brand. They've memorized what your brand is about. Maybe you have a mission statement. They've been and visited your social media pages. All of that's going to be super important, guys, versus just launching products in all different types of categories. Yes, you can still do that, and that works. But when it comes time to trademark and brand register your brand, you have to classify it in one category. And so, or else it requires multiple classifications, which can get expensive. And so that's why I recommend kind of focusing on 1 or 2 categories in the beginning and launching multiple products under one category. So if your first product is in home and kitchen or kitchen and dining, which is under home and kitchen, try to find other products, ideas that you can launch next that will be focused around that category. And then your brand name, you don't want it too specific to where you can only launch, like if you're selling knives as your first product, which are probably too competitive. But if you're selling knives, you wouldn't want your brand name to be Hansen Knives Company. You'd want it to be something like Hansen Knives Inc. Hansen Co. or Hansen Kitchen Designs versus just Hansen Knives, because that limits you to only being able to sell knives. So that's important when you choose a brand name. And right, we want to always get our brand name on the products. If you guys are doing Amazon FBA private label, you're building your own Shopify store, building brands, especially on Amazon, is going to become super important. But just remember, from the very beginning, I really, really recommend that you brand all of your products, okay? And that means it's simple as just checking trademarkia.com, uspto.gov, check the brand name there, make sure it's not already trademarked. It will say live mark or dead mark. That means it's taken. But if it just says register now on trademarkia.com for the brand name you want to use, then you're good to go. And then just do a search on Amazon to make sure that there's no results that come up when you type in that same brand name. And then you go hop on over to Fiverr or Canva to design it yourself, or on Fiverr for $10, $20, and get a nice logo done. All right, guys, we're going to get a nice logo done. Try to have it all tie together back to the brand and the color theme, and just make sure that the designer has experience in your products category. That's a huge tip right there, guys. You don't want a designer who's mostly done baby products designing a sports and outdoors product logo and branding and packaging, okay? Okay, and then week 5, scaling your brand, scaling your business. Maybe you're doing $2,000 a month in revenue. Let's get you up to $12,000 a month in revenue. What are the next steps you need to take other than just launching more products and trying to rank better? What are some real practical tips that you could start to use today to start scaling your business and brand up to that 5-6 figure mark per month? And then week 6, we'll talk about, we talked about in week 2, suppliers, shipping, logistics, and branding. So maybe week 6, we talk about selling off of Amazon. We talk about Walmart. I've recently started selling on Walmart as a third-party seller. It was a fairly easy process to set that up. It's kind of a simple application. I think it was a little bit simpler than Amazon's application, if I remember right. You do need an LLC registered if you want to sell on Walmart.com as a third-party seller. But actually, Walmart application process for a seller was pretty easy. I just filled out the information. You do need to have an LLC. They asked for that. I filled out a tax form, a little bit of info on my business, and I was approved as a third-party Walmart seller. And that's probably the second best place, I would say, after your own Shopify store and Amazon. Of course, try to focus on Amazon first because it already has millions and millions of customers there ready to buy your product. But second best, guys, your own website or Shopify store, and Walmart is working really well. I'm still trying to figure out and dial in the advertising, the sponsored products, the sponsored PPC campaigns on Walmart. I'm still working on that. Working on how the ranking works, the algorithm on Walmart. That's all still kind of a beta test mode right now. I'm figuring that out. And Walmart actually has their own Walmart third-party logistics company or logistics warehouses, which is super cool too. So I'm going to be taking advantage of that. Right now I'm shipping using my 3PL. If you guys don't know what a 3PL is, a 3PL is a third-party logistics warehouse, and they've become incredibly important in the last 6 months with Amazon restricting new sellers, new ASINs, and sellers with an IPI score under 500. That's an inventory performance score. If you're under 500 score, then you're only allowed 200 units stored at the Amazon warehouse, or if you're a new seller. And then for sellers that have over 500, it just depends on what your number is. But Amazon's really been limiting the storage amounts, the shipping restrictions, how much you can ship in and store. And the good news is there, you can use a 3PL, you can use your house or garage if you have room. And then the other good piece of news there, guys, is I do think that Amazon will remove or get rid of those inventory restrictions in January 2021. I think it was just for Q4. And kind of coming off the coronavirus this year in 2020, they were really just trying to make more room, get rid of dead stock and products that have been sitting in their warehouses for too long, not selling, and really gearing up to have the most space and capacity possible to sell newer products, sell more of the best-selling products in their warehouses for Q4. So I do expect Amazon to slowly get rid of those IPI 200-unit limits, ASIN restriction limits, storage limits in January 2021, but I'll make sure to keep you guys completely updated on the latest there. Okay, should you even start selling on Amazon right now? Is it a good time to start now, or should you wait should you wait until the new year? So a couple of things about that, guys. Number one is, we're in Q4. It's a very, very profitable and busy time of the year to be an online seller, especially with coronavirus this year. It's a great time to start. So I recommend you get started ASAP, as soon as you can. Please get started selling online, e-commerce, Amazon, Shopify, Walmart, all amazing opportunities. Even new sellers just launching their first product, I'm seeing so much success with just their first product taking off. It's just amazing. And I have new products too that are just taking off and doing really, really well. And so get started as soon as you can. Now, you guys are looking at probably a minimum of 3 to 5 weeks for production for your supplier to physically make the product, package the product, put your logo on the product and packaging, get it ready for shipping out to Amazon, ordering custom samples before all of that, and then getting the shipment ready and inspected. You're looking at probably a minimum 3 to 5 weeks for that process of ordering custom samples, production, or lead time. And then you're looking at another 3 to 6 weeks for sea shipping DDP, which is really the only affordable option right now. DDP shipping is full door-to-door delivery, and you can either do air shipping DDP or sea shipping DDP. Now, air shipping is coming back like $10 to $15 a kilo for air DDP. Sea shipping DDP is like $1 to $3 per kilo, so much more affordable. Air shipping only takes a week or two. Sea shipping takes 3 to 6 weeks. And so you're looking at a minimum, let's say 3 weeks for production, 3 to 5 weeks for sea shipping DDP before your product would even get to Amazon. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up the first ever episode of Noon with Noonan. I was so excited to start this show, get it going. Go ahead and record the first episode. We covered a lot today. We went over, what the show is going to be about, the different topics and different kind of plans I have for the show, the different episodes every week, what topics I'll be covering. If you have any suggestions for topics that you'd like me to see, subjects or different problems or issues you'd like me to talk about, and you are watching this video on YouTube or Facebook, please go ahead and drop your recommendations down below. What topics or subjects would you like me to cover? What issues are you facing with your Amazon business, entrepreneurship, or just in general in your life? What are you struggling with? Leave me those comments and suggestions down below, and I may even choose you to be one of the lucky winners I bring on the show live with me to record an episode with me. Anyways, guys, we covered a lot. Chinese New Year, getting started ASAP, branding, logos, how to just get started and go for it, inventory planning, Chinese New Year, everything about that. So we'll wrap up there for today, guys. Thank you so much again for all the support. Really excited to bring this new show to all of you. I know it'll bring a lot of value for everyone out there who watches it and listens to it. And so that's going to wrap up today's video, guys. Episode number 1, Noon with Noonan, off now. Thanks, guys.